Half a day Flosstube.
I'm Little One.
And I'm Lynette here at Homesteading on the Homefront. It is Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018, and you know what that means. We're leaving Guam
Next month.
Okay, so yes, the packing and the organizing and the purging has begun in earnest. So we're getting really excited, but the kids are off on spring break this week, so we've already gotten some good stitchy time in. Little One's friends met up yesterday at the Wendy's on base and spent the morning stitching, and so you've got to finish, right?
Several.
Yeah, so we'll get right into it with our FFOs. You go first.
Alrighty, so this is the one that I started in 2nd grade and never finished, and it's done. This is the whole thing, but we have the alphabet, and then patience is the companion of wisdom, and we have some motifs, and yeah. I'm really happy to have it framed, but we might change the frame when we move to like a blue frame.
Yeah, I don't like it in that frame, but it is what it is. It's done. It's stretched. Your oldest whip is over.
Feels good.
I also have a finish that feels good. So the last time we filmed, I was working on free range, and I was blowing through that really quickly and wanted to finish it, and sat back down after we finished filming to work on it and realized that I was all out of white floss. And the hardware / craft store that was out of white floss, in December when I was working on Snowy Village still hasn't restocked. So I knew that Little One had a little bit of white for the ornament she was working on, so I figured I would let her finish that, make sure she had enough white to finish, and I would start something else in the meantime before picking the white back up for the free range. So I went to this sampler. I'd shown it before. It is the Sweet Briar sampler from the March-April edition of Just Cross Stitch. And I just really like the looks of this. My original intent was to put 2 bees here in that kind of blank spot where I thought it needed something. So I dug out my Victorian Mono Sampler threads that were going to be perfect, and I got started, and I did 2 queen stitches, which the whole border and all of the green down here and some of the inside of the flowers were queen stitches, which I had never done before. So I did 2 of them and said, nope, not going to happen. I can do the Algerian eyelets, so I will do that instead. And then I wanted to make it square because I knew it was going to be easier to find a square frame for this. It was a really awkward, it looks square, but it's not. But it's not long enough to fit into like an 8x10. So basically, I just pushed the bottom up a little. So then I started, when it came time to start stitching the inner flower, I had to stitch and rip that puppy out 3 times, and it's still not where it should be, but I left it. Like this sampler was infuriating, and I was really glad that it was over. And I got everything here stitched, and it came time to put the bees in, and I said, nope, I'm done. I can't do it. I can't work on it one more day. And so I'm calling it an FFO because it's in the frame and it's stretched. It's probably a little more crooked in spots than I want it. So I may go back and and fix it, but this is what we have. And I don't know if you can see the colors. The alphabet is a really light off-white, and I had to use 2 strands of this because it wasn't going to show up otherwise. And then this band is a very light pink, and then this pink that I used for the letters is a Victorian motto. The darkest shade of green that you see around is a Victorian motto. And again, these are all Algerian. Nope, these were supposed to be the Queen Stitch, and I was so fed up with it that I didn't even do the Algerian down here in the hill. I just made them cross stitches because, like I said, I was completely done with this sucker. So it's hard to say. I don't even know if you can see the letters. All I see is leaves at this point, but it's over and it's done. Thank goodness. And so that's it for my FFOs this week.
Don't you have me to blame for doing that? I showed it to you, right?
You did find it, yes. It's all your fault. All right, so on to FOs.
So as planned, I am doing, I did another part of the library, the 3rd part by Lighthouse Needleworks. The first one I did was mystery. Next one I did was romance. And now I have, it's supposed to be Western, but I don't really read Western, so I changed the words on the book to historical. I didn't...
Let's put them all 3 up together, see how they look. Yeah, look at that.
So on historical, I hadn't stitched on it for a few days, and I looked at the date and was like, I only have a few days left to do this. So I managed to get this whole book done in 2 days, which really surprised me. But I got it done and was able to work on my sampler, which I also finished.
Yeah, you showed it.
Yeah. One more.
One more. And your other?
My other one is found in the Just Cross Stitch magazine 2013. It's by Country Cottage Needleworks. Where is it? Right there. Snowbirds. I made them Willy and Wonky. The one on the top is Willy because I did the French knot for his eye right, and the bottom one is Wonky because his eye turned out wonky. They turned out cute, and we're going to have one last finishing day before we move, and Mom packs all of her stuff up, so I'll save it for then.
Yeah, we're in the middle of Wendy's, and she's like, oh, I have to do the French knot. And I said, oh, I'm not real great at those. And she's like, that's okay, I can do it. And I said, you know how to do French knots? She's like, yeah, I saw it done once. French knot. Whatever. You may be doing all of my French knots from now on.
I think you're supposed to do something like a hat the next hole over, but I just put it in the same hole. And
yeah, some people put it in the same hole, and then some people do it like a thread over. Okay, so then I was able to get back to free range because we had to make a quick run to the local fabric store because Eldest had a sewing project she was working on and needed some elastic. And I happened to remember that this store carries just a few colors of DMC. And so I was hoping and hoping and hoping that she would have white. And sure enough, she had one skein of white left. So that was enough for me to be able to finish what I needed to finish. This looks like it's an FFO, but it's clearly not. I just shoved it in the frame to see how it would look. This was a thrift store frame that I had. I'm not sure that it's going to stay in the frame. I may do something else with it when we get back to the States and I can, you know, see what Hobby Lobby has for finishing. But again, this is done. Once again, I had to use 2 strands of the white to get it to show up. And I am just discovering that I despise stitching with 2 strands. Like, I knew I favored one, and I've been using one forever. Usually I stitch on 35 or 36 count, and I'll use one and it's fine. I will use 1 strand of floss even on 32 count. I rarely stitch on 28 count. This is 28 count because I wanted it as big as possible to fill the frame. But I intended on only using 1 strand, and I did use 1 strand for the chickens. And the letters up here, that's only 1 strand, so it looks absolutely fine. But in order to get the white to show up, I had to use the 2. And as we talked about in the last video, I made some changes to the chickens so that they matched our girls. Very subtle changes, actually. The only change I had to make in the this chicken is I changed the light gray to a darker red for our Rhode Island red. And I added some black and white in here for our windy chicken. So, fresh eggs is done. Again, don't know if it's going to stay in the frame, but it's good enough for now. Okay, so whips.
Whips.
What are you working on?
So, my first whip, which I started on April 1st, is, it's supposed to be the next part of the library. It's supposed to be classics, but I spent Friday changing it because I don't really read many classics, and I really wanted a fantasy, but I didn't want to stitch 5. So this is what I've got so far. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's got to be a surprise. Mom says it's not obvious yet, but I can see it.
Some people will probably figure out what you're stitching.
So if you can figure it out, put it down in the comments. And my next whip is Country Cottage Needleworks Angels. I am making some changes. I thought it was weird that all those angels were the exact same, so I am changing it to eldest, me, and mom. I started with me. My hair isn't that straight brown, so I mixed 1 strand of the halo color and 1 strand of the brown color to get my hair color. And then this is mom. The 2 colors that I mixed for her were blonde and gray, and I think it bears a striking resemblance. And then
blonde and gray.
I'm not sure if you can see it, but I added some little curls to her and shortened her hair. Probably can't tell. And for eldest, I'm going to change her hair color to a dark brown, which is supposed to be used for the eyes. I'm going to change her eye French knots to blue, and I think that's it. I probably won't have the, whatchamacallit.
What, the variegation?
No, the bell.
Oh, the bell button. Yeah, there will be no bell button.
And
that's it for whips?
That's it.
All right. Which one is your school project and which one is your home project?
So, the Angels is my school project, but I'm aiming it to finish it before school. I'm trying to do a strand for each every day, and I'm kind of focusing more on the Angels right now.
Yeah, you might have those done before it's time to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
My whip, I got done with fresh eggs, and I needed something quick and easy to take with me yesterday while I was chaperoning this stitching session at Wendy's. So I grabbed the 2010 ornament edition and decided to do this ornament from Blackbird Designs. I subbed out, there's only like 4 colors, the red, green, brown, and then the white color. So I subbed out everything but the whitish color for, I didn't use the, I think it called for weeks, but I used Victorian motto instead. And almost done. I just have to finish this leaf right here. Like I said, really quick, I just started this yesterday afternoon. And I'm loving how it's coming out. So that's the only whip that I have right now.
Aren't you glad that you sacrificed your morning?
Yes, it was such a sacrifice to stitch with the girls.
Exact words from her. We got home and she's like, now I can relax. I sacrificed my morning.
Oh, well. All right, so let's talk about whips.
Not
whips. Plans.
So we're doing an early release program where we do all the fourth quarter work ahead of time, and we can get out like a month early.
So both kids are, school here doesn't officially get out until like June 15th, I think, but they are getting out May 17th, and we are leaving on May 19th. So they have to do all of that work that they're missing. And so we've been inundated with projects. The end of the third quarter just happened, and so they had all of that stuff that the teachers were piling on for the end of the third quarter, in addition to all of the fourth quarter stuff that they have to do before we leave. So,
yes,
one of the projects for fourth quarter
that my reading teacher gave me was I have to read a book, write an essay on it, and then do some sort of 3D representation of it. I'm not gonna do a diorama. I just don't want to. So the book I'm reading is a short, simple book because I just want to be able to get it over with, preferably tomorrow.
She's a very fast reader.
It's a little woman book, except it's like a special kind of, it's a Christmas one. So the 3D representation I'm doing of it is an ornament that I can keep around during winter time, and it's orchard house at Christmas time. I can show this pattern because Mom made it. So yeah, that's my plans.
So yeah, I figured why make a stupid shoebox diorama when, you know, you can cross stitch a pillow that's three-dimensional.
And the best thing is, in my other classes, when they tell me to do work for other classes, I can stitch.
Because she's working on her three-dimensional creative project.
Yep.
So,
what are your plans?
I haven't decided yet exactly what I'm going to be working on when this ornament is over. I have I have a lot of options, but two of them kind of caught my eye. This one that I'm going to show you right now is the easy peasy one. This is from the Nebby Needle. It is called Oh My Stars. This is a pattern that I've had since May of 2015. I purchased it at the first Primitive Stitchers Society gathering in Williamsburg. So Bonnie was there and I got to meet her, and I saw this all stitched up and I loved it. So again, very easy. There's 4 colors and, ooh, I'm not showing that part of this. There's 4 colors. I'm probably going to sub them out for Victorian motto, and it shouldn't take long at all. And I figured that would be a good kind of patriotic stitch to have going. And that'll be brainless. That quick and easy, it won't take long at all. The second project I have is going to take some work. So some of you have seen, and I forget the name, I don't know, it was one of the clubs. And it was a Tanya Brockmeyer design. Come sit with me and be my friend, we'll stitch together till the end. And I saw it stitched up. I know Mama Joan did it. I know Buckeye Stitcher was working on it. So I really, really wanted to do that for my best friend Stacy, because a couple videos back I had shown the sampler that we had done a stitch along with the two stitchers sitting on chairs, and I thought that would be a great companion piece. So I contacted Tanya and I said, will this piece be released in the future? And she said, no, unfortunately, that club is exclusive for life, so it will never be released. So I was kind of bummed, but I kept thinking about this and I knew that I wanted to do it. And so I ended up purchasing Tanya's little red chair sampler. And I am going to work this to make it something that I like even better than the Stitch With Me pattern that I can't get my hands on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna kind of not do anything from here on up. It's going to kind of look like this. And the chair is going to be on either side of the center motif. And then I'm going to tweak that saying down here. And I think it's going to fit perfectly into an 8x10 frame. We'll see. I don't know. But I need to work on this one. This one's going to take thinking. And so I need to be in the mood for that. So that's something I would like to have done within the next couple of months. But we'll see. I don't know. Depends on what I feel like. All right. I think we're only at 21 minutes. We are just flying through here. Like I said, the packing up and the sorting through and the purging has begun. And I have found some, they were thrift store finds that I bought solely for the Ada because somebody
is growing a stash.
Wants her own stash of Ada. So when I have found kits and stuff at the thrift store, they're usually cheap enough so that I can justify just buying them and giving her the Ada. But I didn't want to just throw away the kits because somebody might want to make them. So the first one I found is this one. It's called the Potting Shed. And it comes with the chart and the flosses, which are not organized. It's a 5x7 finish. And it's meant to be done on 14 count fiddler's cloth. It's just really cute. And I debated doing it, but I don't know where I'd put it. So if you would like to stitch this, please put in the comments below that you would like to stitch the Potting Shed. And we'll do a little drawing and I will send this off to you. And the second one for this week is a larger one. The finish size is 8x10. So it would probably fit into a standard size frame. It's a Needle Treasures lighthouse. And the beauty of this is that all the floss is organized for you. So you don't have to match up flosses with colors. It's all there. And this was, again, designed for 14 count white Ada, but you could certainly stitch it on whatever you wanted. So if you are interested in stitching the lighthouse, please put down in the comments below that you would like to stitch the lighthouse. And I will do a little drawing for those interested and get this off for you.
Should we make them answer a question?
No, just stitch the Potting Shed or stitch the lighthouse. We'll keep it easy. Easier for searching.
25 minutes.
I do want to give a kind of an impromptu shout out. I didn't write anybody down this week, but I did really enjoy the Kitchen Stitchers, a group of 3 friends who have been stitching together for a while. So go give them a watch. Again, that's kitchen, as in the room in the house with the refrigerator and the sink and the stove. Kitchen Stitchers, as opposed to Kitten Stitcher, who I also love, but I think everybody knows who she is. So hopefully there will be more shout outs from me next week because I hope to be better about writing them down as I watch new Stitchers. The other thing I did want to say, when I find, the way that I find new Flosstubers is that I go to the search box in Yahoo and I search Flosstube. And then I sort the results by the upload date so that I can see who has recently uploaded. So I've noticed a couple of Flosstubers, they put in the title either Flosstube as 2 words or FT or something like that. And I want to encourage you to put the one word Flosstube in your video titles, because I can't be the only one that is searching for videos like that. And so in order for the search engines to pick up your videos, I think it's important to have Flosstube as 1 word in your title. That might help draw more people to your channels. I think that's it. I got nothing else. You got anything else?
Well, I guess.
You guess what?
So the orchard house will be my next school project, but what I'm going to be doing at home after I do fantasy is the piece that I charted myself. So I think it'll go pretty fast.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. All right. We wish you all time to stitch. If you're on spring break, then we hope you enjoy it. Hope everyone had a blessed Easter and Passover. We went to sunrise service here. It started at 6, so we woke someone up at 5 to get going, and she was not happy about being woken up at 5. And so I said, cheer up. Next year, sunrise service will be in New England and we'll be freezing. So yeah, we get to go to sunrise service in sandals and sundresses, and that won't be happening next year. So we enjoyed our last sunrise service here on Guam very much. So already, I will probably be back next week to kind of do a run through of my very non-traditional mania plans. And then we'll be back at some point in April to show our progress on stitching. So until then, we wish you fair winds and following seas.